Powered by Riverside FM.
Man, you know what I was thinking about the other day? I've been a Minnesota Vikings fan since about 1991. And during that time, we've had some really, really good teams. We've had some really, really great players. But every now and then, you get that special player. So I was thinking about Randy Moss, man. Man, how good was Randy Moss? Man, throw the ball up to me. Golly. Remember that on the sidelines when he was talking with, I believe it was Randall Cunningham? The stellar plays. Like, I think people pretty much knew the talent that Randy Moss had coming out of Marshall, but no one expected Randy Moss to be what Randy Moss is. It's kind of like Pat Mahomes. You saw signs of Pat Mahomes in college being a pretty good quarterback, but no one ever expected Pat Mahomes to be what Pat Mahomes is. When Randy Moss hit the scene, man, we already had two really great wide receivers, Chris Carter, Jake Reed, and then you add someone that was just combustible in terms of his play to that wide receiving room, to that core. And at the same time, you had a pretty good mentor in Chris Carter to go with him. So not only did you add a stud, but you had somebody in the locker room that had been through the rigors of the NFL, some good, some bad, but someone that could mentor Randy Moss along the way. And then you add the sheriff, Denny Green. Remember the sheriff? Remember Denny Green's post-game show that whenever the Vikings won, he would play the drums. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Remember that? Man, those were good times. Randy Moss showed out. Arguably part of one of the greatest offenses ever. I know people are probably going to throw up their greatest show on turf. Man, but for my money, I love the Minnesota Vikings when it was Randall Cunningham, Robert Smith, Jake Reed, Chris Carter, Randy Moss. Man, remember the game against Dallas for Thanksgiving? Randy Moss was kind of PO'd at Dallas because they didn't draft him. And it's one thing to be the type of athlete that nowadays people like to go on social media, write cryptic messages, talk stuff through social media, maybe even talk stuff through ESPN, some of the journalists, some of the shows, First Take, all that kind of stuff. Randy Moss, man, just went out there and showed why you missed the boat on drafting me, Jerry Jones. Remember that game? Remember the Green Bay Packers game when he mooned the crowd? Everybody gave him a hard time about that, but he said if he ever took the trip from the hotel to Lambeau Field that they got mooned all the time. So he was just giving the Green Bay Packer fans a little bit of payback. Man, sometimes I think when you have those special players, you have those special teams, you don't enjoy them as much as you should have. You don't enjoy those players as much as you should have. I mean, how would you like to have a Robert Smith now? How would you like to have a Randy Moss now? As good as Justin Jefferson is, and Justin Jefferson may well grow to be the greatest Vikings wide receiver ever. Randy Moss said that he's going to be. That's coming from the GOAT's mouth, that he's going to be Justin Jefferson, the greatest wide receiver ever. But that still doesn't mean we can't look back and appreciate what Randy Moss was. Man, he was stellar. Man, you couldn't roll a safety over the top of a defense fast enough to stop Randy Moss. And then, even if you were able to get there, UP Nation, you remember those games. Even if you were able to get there was no guarantee that you were going to be able to deflect the football or intercept the football because Randy Moss could out-jump you. Remember when he was going in and I believe he had to pay a fine. He was coming out and a reporter asked, Randy, did you pay your fine? He said, yeah. He goes, did you write a check or did you pay in cash? He said, rich people don't write checks. That was Randy Moss. That was Randy Moss. This past football season, news hit me pretty hard. Probably hit all of us hard, UP Nation. When Randy Moss announced that he was going through a battle with cancer, some people had noticed during the broadcast of his pregame show that his eyes were yellow. He was looking a little bit worn. And he finally came out and said that he was going through something. Luckily, a few months later, he said he had gone through his treatment and he was in remission and he had beat it. And that was news to my ears. I couldn't imagine losing. We've lost some great athletes, some great players that were part of this great franchise, the Minnesota Vikings. It would have been terrible for us to have to lose Randy Moss. So I wish him nothing but the best of health. And I'm so happy that he gave us the memories, UP Nation, Skull Nation, that he gave us. What a stud wide receiver Randy Moss was. He went to various teams, did some work with the New England Patriots, but for my money, he was best in purple. And I think all the teams that he bounced around to, the Raiders included, I think when he looks back on his career, he's going to be a Minnesota Viking drafted by the Sheriff, Denny Green. Randy Moss, man. Randy Moss. As great as he was on the field, you could tell greatness because you really can't stop greatness no matter what greatness wants to do. Now he has carved out a niche for the second chapter of his career as being part of the NFL analysts before pregame show on Sundays. Who would have thought that Randy Moss would have etched out that type of career for himself while he was a player? But again, you can't stop greatness. So now he's a part of the NFL broadcasting crew. I just wanted to take time. Sometimes you get caught up in the mock drafts. Sometimes you get caught up in the free agency. Sometimes you get caught up in all the NFL Viking rumors, Aaron Rodgers, Joe Flacco, this and that. So it's easy to continue to move at a fast pace, and it becomes harder to sit and self-reflect on some of the greats that have gave us so much enjoyment putting on the purple uniform. So as I was driving around today, I had to think about my guy, Randy Moss. Man, was he absolutely box office. I just remember some of those games. You went into all those Minnesota Viking games just knowing that the other team didn't have a chance. Like, when have we ever felt like that? Like, no matter what our record is, most recently, and we've had some good seasons, as fans, we're kind of always waiting for the shoe to drop, for the bottom to fall out, for us to go on a slide. With that team, with Randy Moss as the number one weapon on that team, with Chris Carter, Randall Cunningham, and the boys, man, as a fan, I remember going into all those games knowing that the other team was just going to lose. Like, you could just kick your feet up and just relax on Sundays because there was just no anxiety. You just knew, for the most part, that the Minnesota Vikings were going to win. There was just no question marks, and they stubbed their toe only once that season and then got beat in the NFC championship game. But you knew every game that we were going to dominate. How many years, how many teams have we ever felt like that about when it comes to the Minnesota Vikings? That's how great that team was. That's how great Randy Moss was. Man, I miss those times. But guess what, UP Nation? They're coming back. I get the same sort of feeling about the combination of players that are going inside that locker room that were acquisitions by Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. UP Nation, it's coming back. The Minnesota Vikings are coming back. As great as last year was, there's just another level to greatness and what this team can be. Trust me on that. This has been Unconventional Playbook. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Please also consider becoming a member. Those that become a member will be entered into a drawing to win a Minnesota Vikings Winter Warriors jersey. And as always, UP Nation, We will see ya when we see ya. Skol.